Well, inspiring writing and poetry in Maine. That's the goal of a statewide project aiming to help foster stronger communication in communities through the power of the pen.
Here to tell us more about Write Me, an Epistolary Poetry Project, is Gibson Fay-LeBlanc, the executive director of the organization behind the project, Maine Writers and Publishers Alliance. Thank you so much for being here with us on ARC Maine this morning.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So first of all, tell us about the Write Me project and what you're hoping to inspire in communities across the state.
Yeah, so the Write Me project was an idea of the current Maine poet laureate, whose name is Julia Bousma. She's a poet and a farmer. She lives off the grid. She's a librarian in Western Maine. And she had this idea that she wanted to connect people across Maine. So Western Maine to the coast, Northern Maine to the south, getting people to really talk to each other. And so
what for the folks interested in taking part, what they expect at one of the events?
So we're running workshops all over the state. There's been at least one in every county, and they're free. And people show up. They don't have to have any experience with poetry. They just have to be willing to write a letter of any kind. And they're going to be writing letter poems and kind of practicing. And then during the winter, we will pair people up in different parts of the state, and they will exchange letter poems through the mail or through email, and just see what happens.
Oh, I love it. And so do you feel like the art of writing and letter writing specifically is changing with, social media and instant communication?
Yeah, a lot of us have forgotten how to have these longer exchanges with people and really, share something personal and listen to somebody else's story. And that's kind of the idea of this project.
What was the idea behind this project for you?
For me was that thing of just getting really people to communicate, and people who wouldn't normally have a chance to tell each other a story, who don't know each other, maybe don't know much about each other, might have certain assumptions about where that person lives in Maine, and this is a chance to kind of break that down and just communicate as humans.
Are you hoping for a span, generations with this as well? I know it always means so much to me when I get letters from my aunt who, is so much older than me, and it kind of gets me inspired to write back.
Absolutely. We ran a little pilot project of this last year, and we had I remember a 90-year-old woman who was exchanging with like a 22-year-old woman, and these great intergenerational things happening.
I mean, it's great just to get a letter in the mail or a card, even like a birthday card. Mm-hmm. It shows that people took the effort to go buy the card, write it out, go to the post office, get a stamp, and mail it. I mean, I think that's what makes it nice too, is people took the time to do that.
Absolutely, yeah. It's kind of a lost art, and so this is a project that's trying to bring that back.
Amazing. And so tell us a little bit more about the Maine Writers and Publishers Alliance and your mission there.
So we're a statewide writing organization, and we do workshops and conferences and events all over Maine. We have 1,600 plus members all over the state. There's a lot of writers in Maine. There are a lot of small publishers, people who are interested in telling their stories and getting them out in the world, and so we support them and try to help them do different things in the state.
You have a workshop coming up in Auburn this month. What can you tell us about that, and the poet that's going to be there, Myron Hardy? Yeah,
Myron is a wonderful poet. He's published several books. He teaches at Bates College, and he has for a number of years, and he's going to be leading one of these free workshops. It's at the Auburn Public Library, as you said, and it's a chance for just anybody to come and try out writing poems. Most people have some experience with poetry, but they might be a little bit intimidated or scared about it, and this is just a chance to just let it fly.
Yeah, what advice could you give for us, who maybe are a little nervous about approaching writing a poem?
It's really not that much different than any other kind of writing, and you just got to get some words on the page and see what happens.
And here's the thing, people have to realize it doesn't have to rhyme.
That's right.
A poetry can be anything you want it to be, right?
That's right. Their poems come in all shapes and sizes, rhymed and not rhymed, poems that tell stories, poems that just focus on an image, poems that do all kinds of things.
Where do you find inspiration, I guess, for your work?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is, we were talking earlier about I play hockey, and that can be an inspiration, and so can being out on a hiking trail in Maine in some beautiful place.
Mm-hmm.
Do you keep like a pen and a pad with you when you get inspiration? I know I used to do that. I would have it on my nightstand in my car, so if I was a red light, I go, wait a minute, I have this thought in my mind. Yeah. Is that what you recommend for people to do too?
Yeah, I have a couple different notebooks. One of them's about that big, and I always have it with me so that, because you never know when you might have an idea, and if you write it down, you won't lose it.
What's the craziest place you were where you got an idea? Do you remember?
Oh, definitely, like, on some, one of those drives, like way up to Presque Isle, and I'm in the middle of 95 somewhere, and thinking, okay, I better pull over if I'm going to write this down.
Oh, I love that. So how many poems have you written?
Oh, hundreds and hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah, many poems. And I think once you start, it's easy to just keep doing it and doing it. Yeah.
What do you find is the easiest thing, at least for you, to write about?
I write about a lot of the things that are just in front of me every day. So that might be a funny thing that one of my teenagers said. It might be something that happened in my morning hockey game. It might be something that has happened in the world. And any of those things, yeah.
And how does it work for people who are interested in signing up for the program and to be paired with someone? What should they do?
They can go to our website, mainewriters.org, and they can sign up for a workshop or to sign up to be paired up with somebody, and they'll find out in December who they're getting paired up with, and then off to the races.
And will they know about that person? Like, will they get given any information about them?
Not much information. They'll
yeah.
just be encouraged to introduce themselves to each other.
Yeah, what a great way to meet friends. And I can't tell you how many times we've had it on our newscast where we've done a story about these long-lost love letters from the 1940s when my husband was fighting in World War II, and they hung on to these. I mean, my grandmother, when I used to write a postcard to her, I found out when she passed away, she used to keep all the letters and postcards I would send to her in a drawer. I mean, they really mean a lot.
They really do. And we found, like I said, we ran a little version of this project to test it out, and some of these people are still exchanging letters, a year later. So,
amazing. Yeah, I'm picturing like you build this relationship through letters, and then maybe you meet up and have lunch together, and that's really special.
Yeah, and we're planning also at the very end of this project next spring to do some kind of a celebration where we get people together, both in person and virtually in different parts of the state, to celebrate and to share some of the highlights.
Yeah, it can lead to friendship and lead to love in many places.
That's right. Who knows?
All right, thank you so much for being here. Good luck
Thanks
with
for
the
having
project,
me.
and let us know how it goes.
Will do.
All right, I'm going to read your poem about hockey.
Yes. Stay with us. We'll be right back.